Good morning from New York. I'm Eva Malice, and I welcome you to our celebration of women for Women's History Month. And we have the great privilege of having a wonderful discussion with Sofia Exarchou, the director and writer of the multi-award-winning film Animal.
Ms. Exarchou was born in Athens, where she received degrees in electrical engineering and film studies. She also studied at the Stella Adler Acting Studio in New York and pursued postgraduate studies in Toulouse. She worked as an assistant director in feature films and commercials and as a freelance director and screenwriter since 2009. She's written and directed 2 short films, Distance and the award-winning Masesina. Okay. In 2014, she was selected for the prestigious Sundance Screenwriter and Directors Lab. Park was her first feature, premiered at the Toronto International Festival and San Sebastian International Film Festival, where it won the New Directors Award and has since participated and won numerous international film festival awards. Her sophomore film, Animal, which will be screening at the Museum of Moving Image in March as part of our celebration for Women's History Month, had its own world premiere at the international competition section of the 76th Locarno International Film Festival in 2023, where it was awarded with the Pardo for Best Performance for Dimitra Vlagopoulou. It currently screens in theaters and festivals around the world, winning a string of awards in Thessaloniki, Cork, Vancouver, Santiago del Compostela, Bruxelles, Les Arcs International Film Festival, among others. And just recently, Animal was nominated for the Lux Audience Award by the European Parliament and European Film Academy. And we just found out that if you're a Greek citizen, you can actually vote for the film. And it is the first Greek film to participate in the Lux Awards as top 5 films in 50 years, is it, Sofia?
15 years, yes. The last film was Atterberg by Athina Tsakari.
Extraordinary.
2010 or something. 10, 11, yeah.
So 15 years. Amazing, amazing.
Sophia, for those of us who really don't know that much about the Sundance Lab, let's go back in time. I mean, you've obviously been a very busy girl. Let's go back in time and tell us a little bit about the Sundance Screenwriters and Directors Lab. We know it's very prestigious. The competition is fierce to get into this program. So tell us a little bit about your experience in that program.
Well, yes, I would like to talk about that. It's been years, but it's always in my mind as one of the most important experience I had regarding my craft and cinema. So I'm happy to share that with people. So we applied for the Sundance Screenwriters Lab in the beginning, just like that. I mean, we didn't think we had many possibilities to be accepted. Actually, I was the first Greek director ever to be accepted in the Sundance Lab. So it was the first time ever a Greek director was there. So I applied with my first feature film, Park. And then my film was shortlisted, and then we did something like 3 or 4 interviews with the Sundance people until they accepted myself and the script to participate in the lab. So the first round was the Screenwriters Lab that is happening during 1 week during winter in January. And there are 3 international directors, and all the others are from US. And then only for the first timers like me, then after 6 months, we also participate in the Directors Lab. The other thing is that the Screenwriters Lab is for 1 week. You have many mentors there. Among them is like Quentin Tarantino and personalities like that from US mainly, but also from Europe. And then in June, when it's the Directors Lab, you spend 1 month there actually. You select some of the most important scenes of your film. You go there with your main actors, or they cast for you actors in case you haven't cast your main actors yet. Me, I have done it already, so I went there with my main actor. And you spend 1 month there. You have a small crew, director of photography, editor, production designer, and blah, blah, blah. And you spend 1 month there prepping, shooting, and editing these very important scenes of your film. So it's something like a simulation of your movie. And then every day you have all these mentors to discuss about that and see, things that you discover or problems. And yeah, it was amazing. It gave me so much strength that, to have this kind of luxury and this kind of preparation in depth with all these mentors. And then after some months, I actually shot the film in Greece, but I felt like really well prepared. And I
Wow.
think the team in Sundance is amazing because, it's like for Americans also is where you still believe that you can, create something with vision. Everybody's really happy to be there. It's
Sure.
the place for the art house and the independent cinema. And it's beautiful what's happening every year there. And they're really searching for new talents and new voices and really try to help you all the way to make it
Fantastic. I mean,
in the
that's an
end. Yes.
amazing
Yeah.
experience. I mean, wow. So you have a degree in electrical engineering and film studies. You also studied acting at Stella Adler. How did all this prepare you for writing and directing?
Studying electrical engineering didn't really prepare me uh, for that. I was a good student. I like a lot maths. So yeah, I was too young to understand what I want to do in my life, and I just decided to take this direction. And it was quite miserable. I didn't enjoy this discipline, although I believe that my education in a way helped me to have this kind of more square thinking and be able to organize myself and analyze stuff. Okay, there's a part of that we need as directors, this more technical aspect. So yes, I try not to regret it because of that. And then yeah, I studied here in Athens. I studied film direction. Actually, I was studying in parallel. Like in the morning, I was electrical engineer. In the evening, I was
Wow. So both sides of the brain were working on the same day.
Then I did at Stella Adler. Actually, I did only the summer conservatory because I had some friends from Greece. Another director, Silas Zumekas, who has done it, and he told me like it was a very important experience for him regarding his craft, and I knew I like a lot to work with actors, and that will be a main thing in my work. I had a good instinct on how to communicate and how to deliver the information to the actors, but I always felt that I'm lacking the technique, that I can push myself more if I knew better, and if I also experience acting from their side. So that's
Right.
why I had to go to Stella Adler, and it's a really nice conservatory and a really good technique. And I worked there as an actor for some months, and I think that helped me a lot to elevate my work with the actors.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think that really shows an animal because the work that you've done with Dimitra is extraordinary. And this is, I think, her first lead role.
Yes.
And so now tell us about Animal a little bit. It's so raw, it's so honest. Why did you choose to tell this story and why now? Because creative people come up with ideas all the time. What made you want to invest so much time in this world?
Well, yes, I started writing at 2017, and I spent 6 years of my life trying to make this film. So, yeah, there is a reason why this story among 1 billion others that exist. As I say, usually the main inspiration in the beginning was the idea that I want to make a film about work and working conditions and how harsh can be working condition in capitalism in Europe, but not only in Europe. And because I'm Greek, I thought that it would be for me an interesting location, like my working system, to be an all-inclusive hotel, and try to show through this touristic machine all these conditions and how people work and live inside the system. So that was the beginning. As I was delving more to understand why that, and among other stories, I think what attracted me in a deeper level was the idea of the animators. Also because I think that entertainment, is a theme that I really like to explore. How important it is, entertainment in our societies, to just keep the system rolling. We have to entertain people, but also on a personal level, I think there is some connection between my work and the work of my colleagues, and how we make movies all together with the work of animators, meaning that we also have to, to deliver and to work really hard in order to make a film, and we have to present it, and we have to expose ourselves to the audience, and I find some connection there myself with my characters, and with Kaya. Yes.
Dimitra offers an extraordinary performance. How did you know that she could really carry this role?
Well, with Dimitra, we worked also in my first film. She was a second character in my first film. In Park, the main character was a boy, and the story was around a group of boys, but there was also a girl there. Anna was the name, and and Dimitra Vlagopoulou was playing Anna. So we have worked already before, and I really believed in her acting skills. And also, I think we have a similar way of work. Like, we really want to dig deeper into the characters, talk a lot about them, improvise with scenes that don't even exist in order to discover characteristics of the characters. So we have already been there, and we could communicate really nice. And I also believed a lot in her sensitive side. So I was not really afraid that all these difficult scenes that are in Animal, and she's like in a very bad emotional state, I was sure she could deliver that. Plus, she's a dancer also, so I knew that she has really good dancing skills, because the character required that. The only thing I was afraid with Dimitra was that she's in her real life, she's very introvert, like very shy, a very low-key character, and I was afraid if she will manage to deliver Kaya, because Kaya, from the script, she was a very strong character, really loud, laughing like with a very strong laugh, and she's very dynamic, and I was afraid a little bit about that, but we discussed it a lot with Dimitra, how we're gonna make this metamorphosis. We did a lot of tricks, like she lowered her voice 2 octaves down to look stronger. She changed her walk. We found particular lines, like when she says beautiful, lines that will make her connect herself with Kaya. We change her hair, or she always the hair are fake, but she became like a lion with this hair. So we went through a whole metamorphosis, mainly for all the characteristics, but also like for her appearance and her clothes and her hair and all that stuff. I think these things also help her a lot to believe that she can become Kaya. But we focus a lot on that, and in all the rehearsals we did for 6 months, that was always something that we had to work on. Her first her first direction always was to be more sensitive. Like the first time we did the rehearsal for the boogie, she was like almost from the beginning ready to cry.
Okay.
Like cracking down immediately, and I said no. This is not Kaya. Kaya doesn't want to crack. That's the battle of the scene, that she thinks she will never crack down, and she fights against that. So it was always this thing to manage to deliver the scenes being Kaya.
I mean, it's really a metamorphosis of a personality in a way, which is amazing, which is extraordinary.
And we're used to hearing directors tell actors, tone it down, I want it low. And you had the opposite. You turned her up. So that's great.
I think that's a very wrong, because I teach also I teach to acting schools here in Athens, and it's the first thing I tell them, that this, like, to tone it down is, like, I think a very wrong perception of cinema. Like, don't exaggerate, or if it's a close-up, try to be minimalistic. But if what your character wants, or what he wants to fight for, or what is the conflict in the scene. It's huge. You have to be huge, and if you believe in your character, it doesn't look fake, because.
Right. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the privilege and the great joy of having one of your producers, Maria Drandaiki, here in New York during our expo, and she spoke during Q&A for Animal, and she mentioned that Animal was a co-production with 5 countries. So as the writer as well as the director, but how was that challenge to integrate and satisfy the culture test for 5 different countries? Did you have to rewrite the whole script? How did that work out for you?
Well, there is one good part and one really negative part in all this idea of co-production. I mean, it's necessary for us because the funding we have from the Greek state is not enough to make our films, especially Animal, which is kind of big budget for a Greek production. We knew that we wanted a lot of countries in order to manage to shoot the film. So there was no other way. So the very negative is that there is a lot of bureaucracy in that, and you spend a lot of time in order to manage to create this co-production, meaning to search for good producers that are interested in the same movie, that they see the same vision, that they want also to work hard in order to make this film, and then also to make all the application. And each country has its own needs, and then maybe the Austrian Film Center is going to demand something, that you have a creative element in the film from Austria, and you have to make compromises and all that, and you get rejected, and then you have to change the country to find another country.
Wow, yeah.
Funding. So for me, it's the most tiring and the most sad part of the process. All this work we have to do in order to manage to fund the film. But I know it's necessary. The interesting thing is that in that process, if there are good producers and there's good communications, there can happen some creative exchanges that you got to have the luxury to do in other cases. Like my music composer was from Austria, and I think he did a great job. Because the movie has, I don't know, something like 40 songs, only 2 or 3 real songs, and we had to pay for the music rights, and all the other songs of the movie are written by him or the Austrian actor who plays in the film. So yeah, it's interesting, to work also with collaborators from other countries, and nice things can happen during this process.
You've described all facets of this film, really. What is your favorite part of the process?
I think my favorite is the rehearsals. I mean, I also like some moments during shooting that you see everything happening there, like all these years of preparation and writing, and then trying with your collaborators to create all this, and with your actors and stuff. And there are some moments, magical moments on set that you see it there, the actors with the costumes and the makeup and the lights, and an image that you were imagining for years, and it was always in your head. Suddenly it appears in front of you, and it's beautiful, and all these people working together along with you to make this image and all these images. But usually, because the shooting is very stressful and we never have time and stuff, it's very difficult for me even to take this moment and breathe and realize, how lucky I am to do that. But in rehearsals, I enjoy, because it's the moment I discover with my actors, the universe of the film. And like in Animal, it was very interesting, like to create all this group that they have to look like a family, and all this relationship between them, and also to make all these shows. Like we spent a lot of time making the dancing shows, and it was funny and interesting, and we discovered a lot of stuff. So, and there I have the time to explore, and I feel more calm, and yeah. So I will say the rehearsals. Yeah.
So what is your next project?
I'm writing. I cannot say much now because I feel quite vulnerable. Like I'm not sure yet about my idea and how it goes, but I'm enjoying right now. And I think in a couple of months I will be able to share also to move a bit forward
Okay.
with the script. Yes.
Okay, well, we look forward to hearing about it.
Yes.
So we've been discussing, or we mentioned Women's History Month is this March. I'm always curious to find out, because we don't get anywhere by ourselves. We are taught, we collaborate. Who have you been your female mentors? Who has helped you along the way?
Oh. I mean, I cannot answer that because up until now, I take stuff from people and I observe people and I take the knowledge or I share my worries and somebody helps me to understand something new. So I think for me, all the people along the way of my work in cinema gave me stuff and ideas. So I don't know if I can. Talk specifically about one person. Yeah.
Well, you've managed to strike an international career while making Greek films, which is really extraordinary. So, what advice do you have for directors and actors, aspiring directors and actors?
Yeah, well, patience. I think for directors, maybe the biggest, most important quality is to have patience, to never forget why. Like as you ask me now, why this film? For me, sometimes I even do it in a technical way. Like, okay, when I lose my faith, I say, okay, I will do this movie for this shot and this shot and this image and this feeling. Like I have some lighthouses, some things that are the reference for me that I have to make this film. I think this is not so easy, and especially when you spend many years to make a film. But it's very important to keep this energy in order to manage to deliver and have still this love for this particular film. And to trust your collaborators and take the most out of them. Like, yeah. It's a game with a lot of people, and that's the interesting thing that the final movie is the result of many minds that came together to and put all their ideas in the machine and made this movie. So trust them and take ideas from your collaborators and your actors and your crew and everybody.
You're the second person to tell me trust the people around you, trust the crew, trust the team, and that's I think really really important when
But that's the
selecting your
beautiful
teammates.
with cinema, that it's a quite difficult art, but it's so beautiful that there are all these people. And for me, it was very difficult in Animal, the shooting, like really, really difficult. I was completely exhausted, like a nightmare. But still now, after we finished the shooting, I was really happy. And mostly I was happy because I felt all this energy from my crew and from my actors. Like they really wanted to make this film. It was not only my film, it was the film because they put so much ideas in that. So it was that was really moving, how strong they worked and how passionately. That's why I said before, like the screening in Thessaloniki for me was really important because we were like 55 people from the crew. That's a lot, everybody wanted to come to Thessaloniki to share this moment together because we created the movie together. So it was important for them as it was for me also.
How long was the shooting?
35 days.
That's a long shoot, but it also, the I always say the director sets the tone. And so good for you for creating that collaborative spirit on set and leading very well. Obviously, it's a world recognized film. You've won many awards, and it's been, I think, difficult for the travel, but I think very rewarding to travel to all these amazing festivals that you've gotten.
Yeah, I was exhausted. I lost myself during this year, but it was nice. Yeah.
So we can't thank you enough for joining us, Sofia, and we appreciate your time. But I want to ask you one last question. If you could describe yourself with one word, what would that word be?
Oh, I don't know, humor, maybe.
Okay. So, if you enjoyed our conversation and would like to learn more about the Hellenic Film Society and Greek film, please go to our website, hellenicfilmsociety.org. Thank you so much, Sophia. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.